Well, welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist and I own 54 units of real estate. So I want to talk about how for the longest time for my real estate investing career, I was focused on chasing 100 units of real estate. And I feel like in the back of my mind, for some reason, I feel like I had a gun to my head. I feel like I had to get to 100 units as fast as possible. And for some reason, I just thought that more units equals more cash flow. Because if you make whatever $200 per unit and you have 100 units, that's $20K a month. So I just thought that was really sweet. And I thought that that's what I wanted. I was like, I want $20K a month and the average unit makes you $200 a unit. So you gotta get to 100 units. And you know, this might have been ignorance. It might have just been chasing a shiny star, which I tend to do. And it's maybe stemmed from the fact that, you know, a lot of the content on Bigger Pockets was talking about how people scaled massively from 0 to 1,000 units. They quit their jobs in 2 to 3 years using an Airbnb or syndication. And it just gave me really unrealistic expectations, I think. And I think that's what ended up kind of shooting me in the foot, because I didn't get a really realistic approach to like scaling in real estate. And I felt like, you know, Bigger Pockets was doing that obviously for, you know, getting the clicks and the views. And I think ultimately it was just meant to inspire you. But I kind of felt like I was inspired, but with a very unrealistic approach to real estate, which is why I don't listen to Bigger Pockets as much. And which is why I, to be honest, don't really create my own content, right? Because I want it to be more realistic. I want to have a very realistic, pragmatic approach to real estate, not just all the highlights. I talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. But I was chasing 100 units and I almost got there. I got to 90 units at one point. I'm at 54 right now, and you know, I might go down to the mid 30s after I sell my 20 unit apartment complex. But you know, I was just chasing 100 doors, and it might have been an ego thing. It might have been just cool to say, and like I said, I just thought more units equals more cash flow, but that's not always the case, right? I had 90 units of real estate. I had a mobile home park that was losing me $10,000 a month. It was poorly managed. I had a bad property manager on site, bad property manager off site. They're probably stealing from me, and I was miserable. And that's when I realized, I'm like, you know what, unit count doesn't really matter, and it's really about optimizing what you have. Right? So it's kind of like the small mighty portfolio is kind of the new concept, and being more realistic. So, you know, I basically stopped chasing unit counts, and I was just like, you know what? I just want to own good units. It's not headache, and that is scalable. So for me, that's going to be owning an apartment complex in Oklahoma City. So I own one in my 26 unit right there right now. It's stabilized. It's doing well. My 20 unit is in 90 minutes north of Oklahoma City. So that's the one I'm going to sell, or try to sell. So I can remove one property manager and simplify my portfolio. So I could, if I sell it, I can 10-to-1 exchange it to buy a B class or A class apartment, maybe, you know, 5 to 10 units in Oklahoma City. Or if I can't find a good deal, I can buy new builds in Huntsville, Alabama, where I currently own properties. Or I just could sell it, pay Uncle Sam, and move on with my life and have extra money to take debt off the table. So these are kind of like my options that I'm going to do, and that I'm, you know, considering, you know, right now. So, you know, from there, it's just making me realize that, like, wait a second, I have like 54 units. I have fewer units, but they're doing better. I mean, right now they're not doing so great. So if I were to sell another 20 units and I can re-optimize my portfolio, I'll have maybe, you know, call it 35 to 37 units, depending if I sell it, depending if I do a 10-to-1 exchange. But like mid 30 units, and I'll be in a much stronger position. And then if I could sell another property on top of that, I could pay off my primary residence. So I'd have a lot less debt, right? If I were to sell 2 properties and pay off my current primary residence, I'd probably wipe off $1.5 to $1.7 million of debt off the table. So I'm deleveraging, and doing those moves, I could essentially reduce my expense by $6,000 and increase my cash flow by up to $10,000. if I make the moves, right? So what are the moves? The moves are building 2 ADUs in Orange County and owning them free and clear. It's going to cost me $420K to do that, all in. And doing a 1031 exchange, using that to basically buy 2 homes cash in Huntsville, which makes $1,800 each because they rent for $2,200. And on top of that, own another property with 30% down, which cash flow $400. So those 3 will cash flow $4,000. The 2 ADUs that are owned free and clear will cash flow $6,000. So that's $10,000 total. And I have no more loan on my primary, so that saves me another $6,000. So that's how you kind of like play the game of real estate, right? And at that point, I would be at roughly 30 units, but I'd be in a such stronger position because there's no debt on my primary, 2 ADUs paid off, and I own 2 in Huntsville out of 6 that are owned free and clear. And whatever is remaining in my portfolio, I can look and reassess too. Like, okay, if I sell another one, I could use that to pay off my 26 unit, own that free and clear, not deal with balloon payments. So it's just really, I think my sweet spot is around 30-ish units for me to hit my goal of retirement, for right now, right? So that's why I kind of realized, and like I said, most of it is my 26 unit apartment complex that I own, right? That's kind of like carrying the team. It's my LeBron James, my Stephen Curry, my real estate portfolio. So, that's how it's going to look like. It's probably going to be like mid-30s is probably going to be my sweet spot to attain financial freedom for me right now. But once I had that strong foundation, again, and let's just say I retired, I'm living my life, maybe I accumulated more money than I needed, I can continue to buy real estate, I can continue to pay down debt, I could do index funds, which is more passive. So I just have more optionality to like, do I want to take some chips off the table from real estate? Do I want to do index funds, which is more liquid? Like, what do I want to do, right? That's really the name of the game, is like, what do I want to do? And let's see here. And how do I want to pivot my real estate portfolio? Sorry, this guy just cut me off. But basically, what do I want to do? And how do I want to pivot? Do I want to continue doing real estate or build upon those 35 units, or am I good? And I'm happy just investing in index funds, something more passive, and enjoying my life, right? As I start to plan for a family and all that good stuff that's coming in the future. So that's really what I'm thinking about. So like, looking back, obviously you feel very stupid chasing unit counts, but the silver lining in all this is that, hey, because of me taking action, because of me chasing a star, I learned a lot. I gained a lot of clarity. Yes, I made mistakes, right? I lost money on deals. I made money on deals. Overall net, I'm positive. Built up a large net worth, larger than I thought I would by the age of 35. The fact that I can make these moves and give me optionality to retire early is, very insane to me, if I'm being honest. And so yeah, it's a privilege to me to be able to make these moves. And like I said, it all stemmed because I was chasing 100 units, which was a bad thing to chase, but it got me to where I am today. So I don't regret chasing the 100 units, and I don't regret everything that I've been through and what I learned, because it gave me clarity today, and it can help me teach you guys to show you a more realistic path to financial freedom through real estate investing. So everything has a reason. Everything happens for me, not to me. So I'm actually grateful this happened, right? So I'm grateful for Bigger Pockets, even though I don't listen to them today, but they got me excited. They got me to chase a high number. But in that chase, I did fall, and luckily I didn't get wiped out, because a lot of people can chase it, get wiped out, but I didn't get wiped out. And I'm making these moves so that I don't get wiped out in the future, right? So I'm trying to play defense. Now that I built a lead, it's like playing football. In the beginning, you're playing offense, and once you build a big lead, you're gonna play more defense and be more conservative, start running the ball. That's the phase I'm at right now, because I don't want to blow it up, right? I don't want to lose everything I built, because I have something to lose, right? I have something to lose. So that's why I'm starting to take some chips off the table and be more conservative, because I have something to lose. In the beginning, I had nothing to lose. right? I only had something to gain. And now that I've hit this gain, I have something to lose. So as a result, you have to make pivots and you have to make adjustments. So, what helped me build my portfolio will not help me optimize my portfolio for my lifestyle, right? So that's the key message. What helped me get to 100 units is not the same skill set I need to optimize my units. So I'm trying to rewire myself for the optimization phase that I'm going through and that I'm in. So that's another key point that I want to hit on is that, what a deal that made sense in 2017 may not make sense in 2025 or 2026. And it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to make pivots based on the circumstance that you have. And yes, one day I'm gonna look back 30 years from now and be like, damn, I wish I didn't sell my first home because now it's worth 2 million plus and it'll be owned free and clear. Because most people regret not buying more real estate. But for me, yes, I might have a regret, but I know that by me selling my first home, it paid off my primary. It gave me options. It gave me freedom and flexibility. And you cannot put a price on that. So yes, it may be a regret, but I'm still gonna be okay with my decision, right? Because given my situation, given my circumstances right now, that's the move I had to make. So, that's how I try to live, right? Like I don't regret selling my mobile home park and losing $100,000. I do. I could have utilized that money in the S&P 500 and earned more money. I could have used that to pay for my ADUs cash. I have about $450K trapped up in my ADUs, in my mobile home park in second position as a note. Would I rather use that, dump that into my 2 ADUs to build right now? I much rather would, but it's trapped there till middle of 2027, unless things get bad. And so it's a regret, but it's all a learning curve, right? So like I said, overall, through my entrepreneurial journey in the pursuit of financial freedom, I've lost $200,000. I've been very transparent about it on my channel. I've lost $100,000 on my mobile home park. I've lost $30,000 to $40,000 on a pharmacy I tried to start up. I lost $30,000 doing an Amazon drop shipping store through Ryan Pineda. So, I lost almost $200,000, learned a lot, and got a nice tax write-off, right? Because I lost money. But thanks to me taking this risk, I've made multi-millions in net worth. And as I mentioned earlier, unit count and net worth is just a nice thing to flex. But right now, I'll be honest, my net worth doesn't give me freedom just yet. So I'm in a weird position where I have a lot of net worth, a lot of wealth, but I have no freedom. So I'm trying to optimize my portfolio to give me more freedom, right? So that's what I'm really doing. If you were to sum this up in a quick sentence, optimizing my portfolio for freedom. What does that entail? That entails me selling a property, paying off my primary, having no $6,000 mortgage. That entails me selling my 20 unit, which doesn't really cash flow that well, but has a lot of equity in there, and doing that to either pay Uncle Sam. If I do pay Uncle Sam, I can use that to pay for my 2 ADUs cash, which will give me an 18% return, cash on cash return on my money. Or I could use that to 1030 exchange it into 2 paid off in Huntsville and 1 with 30% down and give me about $4,000 a month in cash flow. So, and not pay as much taxes, obviously. So that's an option as well. And if I do decide to 1030 exchange it into 3 more units, what I probably would do is build my ADUs with half cash, half line of credit, and then use the cash from the ADU to pay off that line of credit. But if I want to optimize towards easiness and not doing 1030 exchange and being lazy, then honestly, I probably should just sell my 20 unit, pay Uncle Sam, and then fund my ADUs all cash, and be good with that. So we'll see where we go, right? If I'm lazy, I'm leaning towards just paying Uncle Sam and move on from that deal and get a lesson learned, right? But we'll see. If I get my mobile park money, I can fund my ADUs, then I can 1030 exchange my 20 unit into 3 or 4 more properties. That'd be the most optimized way to do it. But like I said, sometimes when you want to optimize for lifestyle, you're not optimizing for return on investment or return on equity, right? It's not always about the money and the numbers once you build up a net worth. So it's just kind of a message to remind myself and to remind you guys, right? Like in the beginning, ROI is all that matters. But once you built the net worth, once you hit your goal, it's not about ROI, it's about return on stress and return on time and a return on peace, right? And that has no value you can attach to it. So, now I don't chase unit counts. I don't care if someone owns 100 units or 200 units. I used to care, but now I realize that most people who do own 100 units, they're a syndicator and they own like 2 or 3% of that. So I don't want to be in that position. I don't want to partner. I don't want to have investors to deal with. That's not why I went to real estate. I don't want to have a job, another job. So that's kind of my thoughts and that's kind of my process. So hopefully you found value. Sorry for the distracted video. Tesla self-driving was having difficulty. But hopefully you found value. Hopefully this inspires you to pursue real estate, but don't chase unit counts and don't chase net worth, right? Like net worth is cool to say, like I said, I have to optimize my portfolio, but I guess one can argue that because of my net worth, my high net worth, I have the privilege to optimize, right? So I can't complain either. But don't chase unit counts, don't chase net worth, chase what gives you the most freedom to live life on your terms. That's really the whole crux of me doing real estate, the whole crux of me doing investing, is I want to have freedom on my terms. So anyways, like I said, join the school community. If you want coaching or courses, if you want to send me an email, if you want a steady landlord insurance quote, click on my link tree down below. I have links to all that. Otherwise, please like, comment, subscribe, and check out some of my live streams. Try to do it more frequently now. So thank you so much, and peace.